Let's be honest, we all want to get the absolute most that we can out of our properties. And in the process of selling your home, time can be either your biggest asset or your biggest enemy. Similar to if you buy stocks, when you buy and sell is paramount on how much you're going to make in the sale. Specifically in Mobile, there are ups and downs depending on the time of year. So today, I'm going to give you the full guide so you can decide if it's the right time to sell for you. Welcome back to Moving to Mobile. If we haven't met yet, my name is David and I am your local real estate agent. If you're looking to sell or even buy in the Mobile area, I would be happy to help you with that process. All you need to do is reach out to me at the number below. This number and my email address are also in the description for your convenience. Today, I'm going to be giving you some of my best kept secrets on how I sell homes and how a buyer might be thinking when they buy a home. So make sure to stay tuned to the end of this video because any number of these tips could make you net thousands of more dollars. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, the first portion of this video, I am actually titling buyer or seller. And what I mean when I ask that question is it's relating to the market in Mobile. Is it a buyer's market right now or is it a seller's market right now? This is a super important question because if it's a buyer's market, the buyer actually has the advantage on the sale. If it's a seller's market, then the seller has the advantage on the sale. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what makes it a buyer's or seller's market. Well, there are a ton of factors that come into play here, such as new businesses, new jobs, weather conditions, or the market in general. Pretty much anything that can make the area more or less desirable affect if it's a buyer's market or seller's market. There are times where the whole city is a buyer's market or the whole city is a seller's market, but right now we're not really in that time. Specific spots in Mobile are doing really well right now, and other spots, not so much. Now, you can actually track your area of town by seeing how quickly homes come on and off the market. If you see in your neighborhood that homes are taking weeks or even months to sell, it's probably not a seller's market right now. Now, if you're seeing homes come on and off the market in a matter of 1 or 2 or 3 days, it's probably a seller's market. Now, there might be spots of town that are in between. Some homes come on and off really fast, others sit for a while. It can kind of be hard to tell sometimes. But here's the main idea. If you can determine what your neighborhood is, you can begin to expect how long your home should sit for. For example, let's say there's a house in your neighborhood that has about the same amount of square footage as your house, and it's in a similar condition. If that house sold for $200,000 in 2 weeks, you can expect that your house, if you listed it for $200,000, would probably sell in about 2 weeks. This is not a guarantee, it's just a helpful guideline for you to see what's a realistic time frame for you. Now, if you list your house for $205,000, you probably won't sell your house as fast, if at all. So here's the main takeaway from this section. Use recent sales data to determine how long your house should sit on the market for and what you should list it for. If you would like to speed this process up, I would highly recommend reaching out to a real estate agent like myself who can get you a comparative market analysis, which will give you all this data at a much quicker rate. You'll get detailed statistics on the size of homes in your neighborhood, how long they're sitting on the market for, and what the average house sold cost is. Most real estate agents will actually get you this information at no extra charge. This is our job, and this is what we like to help people do. The next section we're going to talk about in this video is going to be a little bit more obvious, but for some people may be more difficult. You need to decide what your main goal is in selling your house. Are you trying to get a certain number of the house to put as a down payment on another house? Are you trying to move to a safer neighborhood? Are you trying to move closer to family? Are you moving out of state? Are you downsizing? Are you upsizing? All of these possibilities and variations are going to make the offers that are given on your home different. This will change what might make an offer appealing to you. A lot of people focus on the dollar amount, which is valid, but there might actually be a smaller offer that's more attractive for you depending on your circumstances. I'll give you a practical example. I recently wrote an offer on a house with my buyers, and they physically couldn't go any higher, but they knew that there was 4 other offers in. This was the only house they really liked, and they were really eager to get in. When putting together our offer, I reached out to the other agent, and I found out that the sellers were on a really tight schedule, but my buyers weren't. Due to this, I wrote a contract that gave more flexibility for the sellers on their move-out date. We leveraged my buyer's ability to wait a couple extra days on the home so we could write a lower offer that was more attractive for the seller. This is what we call a win-win situation. Your goal in buying or selling your house is to create a win-win situation for you and the other buyer or seller. You can leverage time, closing costs, money, or other fees to make this possible. Now, this isn't always easy, and it often doesn't work this way on every deal. But if you ask yourself, what do I really want out of the sale of my home? You'll be able to cut through the noise and figure out which offer is best for you. So our big question in this video, which is when is the right time to sell my home, kind of depends on what you're wanting. So my advice is get with an agent who can determine what your house is worth and what time frame you're working with, and if they both work for you, Now is your time to sell. The next portion of the video we're titling What Happens If It's a Seller's Market. We're going to answer this question in detail because I think this is something people often misunderstand. A seller's market means there's more buyers than sellers, so there's often multiple offers on each home. The home will enter what we call a multiple offer situation, and typically one or many of those offers can be above asking price. I know that's super exciting, it's super enticing. However, most of those offers are likely to be financed. This means that the buyer is going to take out a loan and the home is going to have to appraise at the value that's agreed upon by the buyer and seller. The lender is the person that's requiring this. Most lenders, to protect their assets, don't want to give a loan to a buyer who's purchasing a home for more than it's actually worth. So it can be super exciting when it's a seller's market and there's a buyer that's willing to pay $10,000 over the asking price, but if the house is appraised, someone is going to have to come to the table. Buyers often don't have that sort of cash on hand, and now you have no way of closing unless you, the seller, comes off their asking price. No one is making you sell your home, but the only way that you're going to get more is if someone is offering you cash, and most cash buyers offer less. So if you are in a seller's market, my advice to you would be focused mostly on the means of financing. If a seller has more cash to put down, that's going to be the more attractive offer. If a buyer has more to put down, like 20% instead of 3.5%, the transaction is much more likely to go smooth. I am definitely not telling you to take the smaller offer. All I'm saying is that the appraisal process makes it really, really difficult to sell a house for more than it's actually worth. All this to say, a seller's market will likely sell your home faster and it may net you a couple $1,000s more, but it's very unlikely to change your life. If you're ready to move now, my advice would be to move. Don't wait for the stars to align because they may never align, and realistically, it's not gonna be that much of a difference. As you can tell, this is kind of tying back to the goals that we were setting in the second portion of this video. You need to know what your main objective is in selling your house. Okay, so the fourth portion of this video, I'm titling the time of year. Mobile is very similar to a lot of the other markets in the United States. We typically see more homes come on the market at or near the summertime. There's often less buyers and inventory in the wintertime. This isn't to say you can't buy or sell in the winter, it's just saying that more inventory is moved in the summer. The only caveat I've seen to this is election years. We often see a lot of buyers hold out on election years and then them flood in the December after the election. This really doesn't have much to do with which candidate wins, it's more about the uncertainty of the future. Now, another pro about selling in Mobile, specifically in the summertime, is its proximity to the beaches. We get a lot of tourism in Mobile in the summertime, especially because of attractions like Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, and Dauphin Island. We also get a lot of attraction during Mardi Gras season. I've seen a lot of northern buyers come down here for vacation, find their way on Zillow, and decide they don't want to leave. If your house is on the market during summer or Mardi Gras season, you might see some extra traffic because of this. Okay, so before we wrap this up, my last piece of advice centers around the offering price. This is the price that you are listing the house on the market for. Now, not every time, but often you'll find that people have a higher price in their head than the house is actually worth. I'm not saying this is true of you, however, it's important to note that a house rarely sells for more or less than it's worth. The only time I see homes sell for way under what they're worth are if they're for sale by owner or if the seller offered too much seller's concessions. In nearly every other situation, if a home is presented to hundreds of buyers, which is what an agent does, the market will correct the price. For example, let's say your home is worth $170,000, but we decide to list for $150,000. What's most likely to happen is you're going to get multiple offers because that's a really good price. Those offers would likely compete till they were at, close to, or even above $170,000. The market can change the price of your home, but you asking for more can't. The Mobile market right now is in a really interesting spot. We're seeing some homes come on and off the market in days, others sit for months. If you want to know more about your specific property, please reach out to me and I'll get you all the nitty-gritty details. For all of my buyer friends out there, let's connect and let's see some of these homes. That's going to do it for this week on Moving to Mobile. I really appreciate you watching to the end. I hope you got what you needed out of it. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate you liking, subscribing, and maybe sharing it around. Now, whether you're a buyer or seller, it's great for you to know about this area, so I'm going to leave a video I made last week right here for you to check out, which goes into Baldwin County versus Mobile County. I'll see you there, or I'll see you next time.